Sorry this video is a bit late. I was away again at the weekend, watching some planes fly around in the sky. Great weekend. So the Wedgetail's finished. Well, not quite. The rear tail planes are just pinned in at the moment. I still need to attach the pitch slot, which is a decal, and the main landing gear. There's a couple of struts I forgot to add. Nightmare at the end, especially with the antennae. I use PVA glue to attach them. Then the glue goes transparent so it doesn't look as bad. But because they're all over the fuselage, I kept knocking them off. And I was ready to throw the thing out the window. I'll just take them off completely. So hopefully you like the finished Wedgetail. It is a bit of a what if. There's a lot of gaps. There wasn't much information out there. I could have based it on the E3 Sentry, which makes logical sense, but I didn't. So hopefully you like the finished thing, and I want to thank you for watching, and hopefully see you for the next video. See you later. So the first thing I did was I airbrushed the localized areas that I've been working on. The engines to the pylons, the tail rudder, the flap fairings, the rear fairing there, and that sensor there, plus the ones on the wingtips. So I just airbrushed those and just checking that there's no scratches, dents or any imperfections. Once they were cleaned up, tidied up and I was happy with them, then I've given it several coats of a light grey. I've left that to cure overnight, and what I'll do is I'll gently wet sand the whole of the model, taking off any loose dust, paint dust should I say, and smooth the surface ready for the actual application of the colour. So I don't know if you can see this or not, so just sanded it all over with my padded sponge and some water. Surface is nice and smooth now, and will be when I clean all this crap off. That's what I'll do next, and I think I'm going to give it a few more coats of grey again, leave that to set overnight, and then do the same process again before I start on the actual colour. So get this rinsed off, I'll get the other parts sanded, get them all painted again, and do the same procedure as I've just done. So I've added the final coat, which is a mixture of sky grey, about 30 to 20% flat white, and a hint, or should I say 4 or 5 drops of deck tan, just to warm it up a bit. I made sure I made enough to cover this twice, so I've got about half a bottle left. So that's been left to dry overnight, and I'm going to do as I did with the light grey application. I'm going to sand this of any dry paint and any surface bumps, so I'll get on with that next. So been sanded with a little bit of sandpaper, foam back. That's super smooth now. So that's all been sanded, washed. I'll be giving it another wipe again, and then we can start adding the other painted areas. There's quite a bit of black on the sensors to do. These areas like that, and then we've got the natural finish on the slats here, the rear tails and the rudder. So a few other bits of paint, and once they've been painted, then I shall start to add the decals. So I'll get on with that. So as you can see, I've started to mask up the natural metal areas on the rear rudder, these slats here, and on the rear tail planes I've masked those as well. I will use the AK's Extreme Metals matte aluminium again, and then I can dull it down if I find it too much of a sheen on it, which shouldn't be a problem anyway, because I think they're quite shiny anyway. While masking this up, I noticed around the pylon to, I suppose, the wing root, I suppose the slats don't go all the way up to here. I should imagine they finish around here. But I found that there was a fillet. It's a different shape from what the kit is, like just a little fillet. I only noticed this when I was masking and cross-referencing with the photographs, and it was a case of, I'm unmasking all this just for that, which is a shame, because it was only a small little job. It wouldn't take too much to do it. There's also maybe an issue with the actual pylons themselves, the shape. But too late now. What's done is done. Just have to live with it. So I'll get on with finish masking this up, and then I can get on with the application of the AK's Extreme. So that's AK's Extreme Metal matte aluminium applied. Went down beautifully by looking at it. The masking, I hate masking with a passion. I hate it. Nearly as bad as undercarriage and cockpit interiors. But it's a necessary evil, especially to get this sort of finish. In the good old days with a hairy stick and a tin of enamel silver, Humbrol enamel silver, I'd have been happy. I don't care what the finish looked like, I'd have been happy. So we'll let this rest, cure, and then I'll peel it all off, see if there's any damage, any touch-ups needed, and that'll be the next thing you'll see. While I've got a little bit of a gap, I thought I'd take my attention to the antennae. There's antennas, there's loads of them, as you can see. They're supplied in resin, so a new scalpel blade, deburred them, and they've come up okay. I was toying with the idea of creating my own, but I don't think so. So I've given a few coats of white, off-white, they're not pure white, and then I'll give them a few coats of satin varnish just to seal everything in, and then when it comes to add these, which will be the very last job I do, I'll cut them off their stalks or the gates. So I've peeled off all the masking tape. Don't know whether you can I'll take a still picture. So there's a couple of little touch-ups. Same with the tails. And the pylon. So I'm going to leave that to dry properly now, mainly because I've got other things to do, so it's a good time to let it sit and rest. And next thing to do will be to add the decals. So here we are, all decaled up now and finished, thankfully. The Welsh Model decals are nice, but they're a pain in the neck because they come in one continuous film, so it means cutting it out, trying to minimise the amount of film around the decals, so that's quite time consuming. The fin flashes and the roundels are from Extra Deco's Nimrod sheet. The Royal Air Force text I got from, I think it was Italia Chinook. Looking at the only reference I had of the RAF Wedgetail, or supposed RAF Wedgetail, was I think it was either a CAD image or a model with a superimposed background on it. Gave me very little information. You just about spot the tiny fin flash at the back and the small text Royal Air Force, which looked like it was in a dark grey or grey. I've had to make do with what I've had to hand. The roundels on the fuselage, I instinctively want to put them on the rear, but looking at the E3 Sentry, they had them at the front. I was about to apply them at the front, but it just looks so alien to me, I left it off. Looked odd. So now that's all done now. This should be sealed and finished off in a gloss finish, but I personally don't like gloss models. That's a personal thing. I don't think gloss scales down right. So I'll be sealing everything in a satin finish, and I'll be using, if I can find it, Vallejo's satin varnish. I love this stuff, it's brilliant. Nice coverage, great stuff, easy to use. So once that's done and left to dry, I shall be adding all the ancillary bits, the undercarriage, doors, what else is there, the rear tails, and the pylon and the AWACS. And once that's done, it should be finished, he says. Oh, I've got all the antenna put on. Oh, that's going to be fun. And then that should be it. So hopefully the next thing you'll see is the final photographs of the finished AWACS.